You felt the statistic about 87% too, didn't you? People hate it if you are more intelligent than they are. Intelligence, money, and beauty are the most envied things on the planet. If you have all three, don't get out of the bed. Have you ever noticed how so many people in top positions are neither smart or attractive, and how so many smart and attractive people seem to be suffering? Unfortunately, jealousy is a powerful motivation for some people as well as a tool to bring those they are jealous of. Have you ever caught yourself thinking that most modern influencers aren't actually smart or talented? They're simply the kind of people their audience wants to become. Take Wizard Liz, for example. She's hyper-confident, hyper-self-adoring, and hyper-egocentric. Naturally, her audience is made up of people who lack confidence, don't value themselves, and constantly bend to external circumstances. In her image, they see the version of themselves they wish they could be, the parts they feel are missing. Pick any country, and 9 out of 10 life coaches and online mentors are conventionally attractive, perfectly groomed women in luxury interiors. Why? Because that's exactly what their female viewers want for themselves, to be beautiful, polished, and surrounded by luxury. But nobody wants to be smart. Nobody even envies smart people. So if you clicked on this video, there's a high chance you're one of the unlucky ones. You were given intelligence and talent, but no one told you what to do with them. You might even admit that at times, you trade your intelligence for beauty or a luxury lifestyle. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how that trade works. There are only 5 clear rules. Sooner or later, I realized how these rules actually work. But it only hit me when I turned 30. And once I understood it, everything fell into place. Career, relationships, free time, and most importantly, 0 frustration. The secret turned out to be both simple and complex. You just need to know when to be smart and when to play dumb. Because if you're always the same, you're boring. You're a function, predictable, and the world doesn't reward predictability. This world, it's not chess. While you were playing by the rules, the world had already decided your place is on the bench. This world is poker, and in poker, if you're always the same, even a fool will outplay you eventually. That's why I've created 5 strategies that show you exactly when to switch between smart and dumb mode. And use your intelligence as a weapon, not a weakness. No coach in a golden interior will ever tell you this, because it benefits her if you keep thinking your problem is falling for toxic men, or whatever cliche is trendy this week. But the truth is simpler, and much harder to swallow. You just don't know how to pretend. You want to play fair, but you can't afford to. Maybe you've heard the phrase, no millionaire can honestly explain where their first million came from. That's because the first million is always made outside the rules. Same with you. If you didn't grow up like Kai Madison Trump, choosing whether to play golf in New York or Mar-a-Lago, then you don't get to play by the proper rules. Because those rules weren't made for girls like you. They were made for heiresses. For girls whose last names open doors before they can even spell them. Meanwhile, your reality was different. Survival, not summer camp. Silence, not therapy. Hand-me-downs, not trust funds. And no matter how smart or kind or strong you are, this world doesn't send a prince to rescue you. It sends a bill. So unless you learn how to play this dirty game, you'll keep losing while someone else keeps smiling with your crown. Your starting point was different, which means your methods have to be different too. And if you're still trying to win a game that was never designed for you, no wonder you're losing. Being smart, openly, is a privilege of secured power. If you're not secure, openly displaying your intelligence triggers insecurity, and people will act against you to protect their egos. Picture this: new job. By day 3, you already understand the system better than most. Your coworkers have experience, but they're slow. You start offering better solutions without even trying. And suddenly, the room goes quiet after you speak. Your manager starts cutting you off. The coworker who joked with you yesterday doesn't invite you to lunch anymore. And now you're being assigned pointless tasks for no clear reason. You didn't do anything wrong. You were just smart, in the wrong place, at the wrong time. And your talent became a threat to people who've been surviving for years on mediocrity. Your abilities became a mirror for their insecurities. And now, they can't even look at you without secretly wanting to crush your confidence. They'd erase you if they could, but never directly. They'll disguise it as bad vibes. You're not a team player. You're too much. You just don't fit in. They don't care that you're effective. What bothers them is that, next to you, they look useless. So be smart, but not transparent. The world doesn't reward those who shine too brightly. The world remembers those who've learned how to play from the shadows. And this applies everywhere: in school, at work, in friendships, and in relationships with men. Being intelligent as a woman is like walking around with a visible knife in a city where everyone's armed, but pretending they're not. Everyone sees your weapon, and they all want you to hide it, not because you're dangerous, but because you expose the fact that they're unarmed. When I was at university, I only failed 2 exams in 5.5 years. Ironically, not because I didn't know the subject, but because I knew it better than the professor. And I wasn't shy about showing it. It was never about the material. It was about how my presence exposed the emptiness of those who thought they were the authority. Back then, I didn't even realize it. I was smart, but naive. I was playing as if everyone followed the rules, not realizing they were just hiding their insecurities behind masks. One of the biggest traps for intelligent women is hypergamy. One Harvard study says that 87% of men cannot build a relationship with a woman they consider smarter than them. Men are drawn to women who are less intelligent, weaker, and less competitive. And women want men who are smarter, stronger, and capable of leading. It's not sexism. It's neurobiology, reinforced by evolution and thousands of years of survival in patriarchal systems. For most men, living next to a woman who's smarter than they are is like waking up every day with a scythe to the balls. Think back to that professor who got offended just because a female student knew more than he did and failed her, not because she was wrong, but because his ego was bleeding. Now imagine he didn't just see that girl a couple times a week in class. Imagine he lived with her every day, having breakfast while she's reading things he doesn't understand, listening to her opinions that quietly shatter his authority, feeling her cold intellectual superiority like a knife slicing through his self-worth. He'd either lose his mind or run, or start tearing her down with passive aggression, devaluing, humiliation, cheating. Men rarely say it out loud, but the truth is, most of them are terrified of intelligent women, because a smart woman is a mirror, and that mirror doesn't flatter, and truth is the last thing a man wants to sleep next to. In a world where a woman is growing, reading, thinking, building, her pool of potential partners shrinks fast because she needs someone who's truly equal. And most men aren't looking for an equal. They're looking for someone easier. You make me feel like I'm in an exam. You analyze everything. You're too intense. I don't feel like a man around you. Sound familiar? That's because you're not a backdrop. You're not playing the role of the cute, agreeable girl. The first thing you have to understand, this is not your fault. If you're smarter than 90% of men, it doesn't mean you have to dumb yourself down, but it does mean you need to learn how to play two games. One, for the world, where sometimes it's more useful to be agreeable than accurate, and other, for yourself, where you can be fully you without lowering the bar. It's painful, it's lonely, but it's not the end. It's a filter, because the only ones who stay are the ones not afraid of your power, not the ones who get turned on by your weakness. Sometimes it means staying alone longer, but that's better than spending your life pretending to be dumb just so someone else can feel smart. Your intelligence is not the problem. The problem is men who don't want to grow next to you. Your intelligence is not the problem. The problem is men who don't want to grow alongside you, and the system, a system that was never built to accept a smart woman as something natural or desirable. It's one of the hidden traps of the normal distribution curve, because that curve was made for mediocrity, for the mass, for the standard. And you don't fit that standard. If you're intelligent, you're already outside the range, which means you're not loved, you're not chosen, you're not heard, you're not convenient, because you're not a role, you're not a background character, you're not the nice girl, and the world doesn't know where to place someone like you. You're a smart businesswoman? So where's your family? You're a smart mother? Where's your business then? You dedicated yourself to your kids? Then what exactly are you worth? You're highly intelligent. That's a masculine trait. The world will never say it outright, but it will not reward you for your intellect. Not in love, not in your career, not in how people perceive you. No one will put you on a pedestal because you're deeper. No one will open doors because you see things ahead of time. Instead, they'll just say, you're too much, you're intimidating, you're difficult. Because in this system, a woman is supposed to be beautiful, soft, pleasant, perfectly balanced between naive and emotional, and above all, she should never make anyone uncomfortable with her mind. If you are intelligent, then you better smile, wear heels, never interrupt, and don't ever look smarter than your man. Because once you do, that's no longer feminine. That's a threat. And if you refuse to play that role, you're erased, not because you're wrong, but because your form was never accounted for in this world. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my life is that it is very hard to be successful when the people around you don't want you to be. The opposite is also true. Be genuine, and do not use your smarts to humiliate people. Use it to guide them to their own successes. Most will appreciate you for this and help you when you need it. That's why I stopped swimming against the current. If the world wants me to wear heels, fine, I'll wear them. But I will get twice as much as I give. If my boss needs to feel smarter, sure, I'll let him. But I'll take 3 times more than I'm giving. If society needs me to bend, no problem. I'll bend. But I'll walk away with 10 times the return. If that equation doesn't hold, goodbye. I know women who spend half their income, half their thoughts, and half their free time on beauty. I ask them, what dividends are you getting from all this? Most of them start mumbling. If your investment doesn't pay off, you're not living. You're being used. Stop letting the system use you. Use the system. This is the first rule of how to play dumb and win. Only pretend when the return is greater than the cost. If there's no benefit, you're just flushing yourself down the drain with your brain turned off. But if the payoff is worth it, then playing the fool isn't weakness. It's a predator's mask. Second rule, people are not the same. There are your people. With them, you're real. No roles, no strategies. That's your tribe. That's love. You can give more than you receive because you enjoy it. That's your chosen game. And then there are the others. They don't need to know who you are. They only get your mask. And in exchange for that mask, they pay. Not always in money, but in access, status, resources, utility. Boss or professor, a narcissist with empty eyes and too much ego? Don't waste your authenticity on him. Give him 2 compliments, smile, play dumb, and instead of 10 hours of stupid work, get it done in 5 minutes. A guy only sees you as a body, just wants you to spread your legs and shut up. Willing to invest only in sex because he can't handle anything more? Fine, play dumb, but use him. Want to boost your self-esteem on him? Do it. Want to test new psychological tools? Let him be your punching bag, because when a man sees you as meat, he's already agreed to be a resource. He doesn't care about your soul, so why should you care about his? But your people, your real ones, the ones who actually see you, give to them like a queen, because that's not a transaction. That's your choice. And the moment you control who sees what, you stop being used and start being untouchable. 3rd rule, your intelligence will not be rewarded, but for playing dumb, you might just get paid. Intellect for a woman is not a currency. No one's giving you a bonus for logic. No one's liking your argument. But if you make a man feel smarter, he'll open all the doors thinking it was his idea. Just look at how some feminists play. They know damn well that free pads for everyone is nonsense. Every woman has different needs. Budgets have limits. This isn't about logic, and that's exactly why they drop the bait, because there will always be smart men who rush to explain, debate, throw charts and tax models into the comments. And while those men are turning into caps lockbots, the feminists are stealing the spotlight, the airtime, the resources, and controlling the narrative. They know that dumb is bait. And the louder and more logical a man gets in response, the more power he loses in the game itself. This is the power of playing dumb. It looks weak, but it grips the throat of those who believe intellect always wins. Remember, it's not always the woman who's right that wins. It's the one who lets others feel like they are. Rule 4. A strong woman plays weak, not out of fear, but because she refuses to waste bullets on ants. Don't be a heroine in battles where no one is worth your caliber. If the win is easier when you play dumb, then win like that. Your intellect is a higher order resource. You don't waste that on emotional slaves. Picture a professor or a boss, a narcissist. This is a lower order creature. He's ruled not by strategy, but by fear, not by values, but by his need to dominate. He doesn't think, he reacts. If you approach him with logic, intelligence, strength, he won't hear you. He'll feel threatened, and he'll do everything he can to put you down. But if you give him emotion and the illusion of superiority, you'll get everything you want and more. It's like tossing sugar to an ant so it goes in the other direction. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's beneath you. Big games are for big players. Everything else is instinct, and instinct is for people who can't think. If you don't use the game uses you. Being always genuine isn't strength, and it's a live wire, letting anyone tap into your energy. And it's emotional suicide to live in a strategic world without strategy. You either direct the roles, or you become someone's function. You either play or get played. And if you weren't born into a perfect upper-class family, then this world isn't set to easy mode. Now stop and think, or write this in the comments. When in your life did you play the right way? You were honest, open, truly strong, and they just discarded you. When did you not use the game? But the game used you. Write it below. because maybe another woman will read it and won't repeat your pain. The world won't change tomorrow, but you can change today. Now you have 5 rules of the game: not to betray yourself, but to save yourself from being drained by the small, the unworthy, the pointless. Your power isn't in being smart all the time. Your power is knowing when to bare your teeth and when to smile. And most importantly, if you don't protect yourself, no one will. If you don't learn to play gauk, you'll get played. If this video helped you, or even hurt a little, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. Let there be more of us. The ones who've woken up, the ones who no longer play by weak rules, because the game is already in motion, and those who don't see it are already losing.